This video covers notes 10.8 over solving systems of equations, word problems, day 1. So example 1, we have a caterer who has a total cost for a party, and that party includes a fixed cost, which is the same for every party. In addition, the caterer charges a certain amount for each guest. If it costs $300 to serve 25 guests and $420 to serve 40, find the cost per guest. So we have 25 guests and a fixed cost for the party of 300. So I've put checks over the numbers that we've used because once you use a number, you can't reuse it except for numbers like 1 and 2. And remember our variables here, when we define our variables, we need to figure out what we're talking about. So one of the most obvious ones is the cost per guest because that's what they want us to find. The other cost for the party includes the fixed cost. So that fixed cost is our other variable. So party 1 is $25 or 25 per guest cost plus the fixed cost that equals 300. And then my other numbers that I haven't used is 40 guests and a fixed cost, which totals to $420. Now I'm also asked to solve this. The suggested method here would be matrices because it's already set up. My G's are aligned, my F's are aligned, equals answer. So letter equals answer is already set up. So I'm going to use matrices. If you prefer to use another method, you go for it, but make sure you rearrange because this is the only method that you do not have to rearrange. So 25, 1, 300, 41, 420. So I'm going to go to my matrices. So second matrix, math, scroll to B, enter. Alpha zoom, I want a 2 by 3. And I have 21, 1, 300, 41, and 420. So I get the 1001, remember this means it's normal, and then 8 and 100. So when I plugged this in, I put guest, fixed, and number, so my answer comes out as guest and fixed. Now the question specifically asked for the cost per guest, so my guest is $8. You could say $8 per guest, but make sure on these that you are answering the question that they are asking, not just finding the solution. If you were to just put 8, 100, it would be wrong because they wanted the cost per guest, not the solution. So example 2, we have a subway train that travels 2 different routes, which are different lengths, green triangle and red circle. On Thursday, the train traveled the green triangle route 6 times and red circle 5 times for a total of 52 miles. On Friday, the train went green route 12, red 13 for a total of 119 miles. What is the length of the red circle route in miles? So again, my 2 variables, my 2 unknowns, we have a green route and a red route. So I'm using G for green, R for red. You can use X and Y. I just like to use G and R so I know what they mean rather than X for G, then have to go back and look at what X equals. So my Thursday equation, we have 6 red, and 6 green and 5 red for a total of 52 miles. So 6 green, 5 red total. Then I have green 12, red 13, total of 119 miles. So my suggested method here, again, is going to be matrices because I have G's lined up, R's lined up, and equals answers. So again, suggested answer is going to be matrices because it's all lined up for that. So I have 6, 5, 52, 12, 13, 119. So I'm going to plug that in. Second, x to the negative 1, math, scroll to B, enter. And then alpha zoom, 2 by 3. And then 6, 5, 52, 12, 13, 119. So remember that 1001 means it's a normal answer, and I get 4.5 and 5. Now the question specifically asked for the red circle. The red was the second set of numbers that I put in. So red is going to be the second answer that pops out. So 5 miles for red. So make sure you are specifically watching to answer the question that they have asked. 5.4.5, 5, that is not the question because they did not ask for the solution. They asked for the red circle route. Okay, and we just have one more question, problem 3. Jack has $3 in nickels and dimes. He has twice as many nickels as he does dimes. How many nickels and how many dimes does he have? So my variables here are nickels and dimes. I'm going to use N for nickels and D for dimes just because it makes sense. You can use X and Y, but make sure you definitely define if you use X's and Y's. So I have 2 pieces of information. The first thing I have is information about the coins. So there are twice as many nickels as dimes. Twice as many nickels as dimes. So nickels has more, so I'm going to put my nickels equals twice as many as dimes, or 2 times D. Now remember, once I've used info, I can't use it again. So the only other information I'm given is $3. Now this question is tricky because you have to refer to information that you already know in your head that is listed nowhere in the problem. So for a money equation, we get a couple money equations with systems because systems are easiest to use with money or make more sense to use with money. So in a money equation, you have to put money plus money equals money. So I know my total money is $3. Now, in order to make this equal, money plus money has to equal money. I can't take coins plus coins and let them equal money. So what I have to do is remember a little bit of information. So nickels are worth 0.05 cents. So I could say you have some amount of nickels with 5 cents each. And dimes are worth 10, so we're going to add in a certain number of dimes that have a value of 10 cents each, and all of that is going to total $3. It's the same way that if I were holding 4 quarters and I said, how much money do I have? You wouldn't say you have 4 quarters. Most people would say, oh, you have $1, because you're taking those 4 quarters and associating 25 cents with those coins and telling me how much money I have total. So when you add and you have some nickels and some dimes and you took a total of $3, you add in, subconsciously kind of, you add the value of the nickels and the dimes to tell me I have $3 total. So these are my 2 equations. Now our suggested method here is going to be substitution because I have a variable that is already solved by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this page. The reason it's so long is because we're going to work out substitution like it should be, and then we're going to work out matrices if that's your preferred method, because we know substitution is not everyone's favorite. So if you were to substitute, my first and last equations are the same. N equals 2D, N equals 2D. So my middle equation is that 0.05 N plus 0.1 D equals 3. And I'm going to substitute N with 2D. So the only thing that changes is that N value. And remember, this is substitution that we did just yesterday. So I'm going to multiply, and I get 0.10D plus 0.10D equals 3. Combine my like terms and divide. So D is 3 divided by 0.20, which is 15. So I have 15 dimes, and then I'm going to replace dimes with 15. And my nickels equal 30. So 30 nickels and 15 dimes. Oh, sorry, you could write that here. And note the question said how many nickels and how many dimes. So they did want nickels and dimes, so I did have to find them both. Alternatively, if you wanted to use matrices, we have a top equation that's set up for it. Sorry, I think that's the bottom on your paper. but the bottom equation is not set up for it. So you would need to move 2d to the other side and use n minus 2d equals 0. Then the matrix you would put in 0.05, 0.103, 1, -2, and 0. I will tell you, people solving for matrices or using matrices when it's not already set up for matrices was the biggest mistake on the quiz that you guys took before we let out for the break. So keep that in mind. Some of you might be saying, yeah, I might have messed up on that, but I definitely can't do substitution. That's fine. You need to make sure you know how to use matrices in every situation if you don't know how to do substitution or graphing. So if I'm plugging these into my matrix, I get the same answer of 30 and 15. And then I have to remember I put in nickels first and dimes second.